Day 2 of the KSL begins right now. Cases on our toasts are back. Day 1 was amazing. Day 1 was the best day we had of KSL.
I think so.
I've got high hopes here for KSL day number 2 as we go into this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. We have 2 very nice matches coming up. I really hope that both of them can deliver. They certainly both have favorites and underdogs in it, but the underdogs are of such a level that I think they can really put up a good fight and maybe an upset.
Yeah, I think so. The KSL is going to be going on every Thursday and Friday. Pretty much every week. I think we have 1 week off during BlizzCon, but if you are just now catching this is going to be going all the way to December 15th. So we've got a ton of great StarCraft 1 games. Of course, not the only league here in Korea. ASL is going on as well. But with 2 leagues now, you and me have been pretty busy. We've been casting StarCraft 1 all over Seoul.
Yeah, it is. It's been pretty hectic, but it's very nice to have 2 leagues back. We're starting to get some real storylines out of these players. They are not just streamers anymore playing all these tournaments, so it's kind of a very nice thing. Of course, we'll have ASL Round of 4 later this week.
Right.
In 2 days, we start that.
Sunday.
Yeah.
We'll be there and Tuesday as well. So you do not want to miss out on that. But do get out there, tell your friends about KSL. We're now doing 3 different leagues in Korea. So we've been keeping pretty busy, but this is our newest one. We do want to spread the word and let other people know. StarCraft Remastered is back. The scene is healthy. We've got new school and old school players all here competing and duking it out.
Indeed. Here is our schedule right there. Round of 16 is a big chunk of the tournament. It'll be going on until the 23rd of November. And then we'll have a few weeks to finish it all out.
Yes. A lot on the line. A total of 80 million Korean won. That's roughly 80 grand. So, I mean, this is no small potatoes, man. And this tournament is pretty rough. I mean, right off the bat, you have to win a best of 5, which is tough. I mean, right now in ASL, it's just you have to get out of a group winning best of 1s in a GSL format.
Yeah.
But this one is going to be tough. I mean, some of these matchups we have, some would say they are mismatches. So you can definitely be brutally 3-0'd, or you can end up with an epic series. If you are down at our studio, we are giving away prizes for the people that make the best signs in the audience. We're giving away headsets and keyboards. There's, of course, also a raffle at the end of the show. So do stick around till the very end. You can get some cool loot.
Indeed, and don't forget the Point Shop, the KSL Twitch channel, well, the Korean one. If you follow it, you get points, and then you get 100 points every 10 minutes of watching. So this is a worthwhile thing for you because you can spend these points to get stuff at that website that you see on the screen. And, I mean, I think that's a really cool initiative.
Oh, I like it. I like that we're getting to do this at our tournament as well. So here's the results so far. We have Rain as well as Ware with the wins here, but nobody's been eliminated just yet. So Group A will continue on in weeks to come.
Yeah.
But definitely both Action and Light in a tough spot as one of them is going to be eliminated as they'll have to face off. And then today, of course, we've got Killer Mind,
That's
Mini,
kind of
and
funny.
Sulky.
The first person we're going to have eliminated is going to be better than the person who gets 2nd place in Group D.
Yeah, how weird is that?
Such is life. Killer versus Mine today, Mini versus Sulky. These are good matches. Mini has been on fire lately. Mind is in not a rut, but he hasn't been doing super well, and Killer's been on the up and up. So
Mind actually,
good.
when I look at him, I really think a lot about a player like Stork, for instance, where Mind was like godlike and totally respected, and of course still respected. A great player, but then you look at someone like Stork or Mind, it's like, well, they're not killing it right now.
Yeah.
You know, like if they did, that'd be exciting, but right now it seems like some other players are a little bit more dominant.
I think you can still put Mind as a top 4 Terran, or top 5 Terran. Maybe he's fallen that low, but still strong.
Okay, we're bringing out our first player, Killer, going up on stage. Killer is a great gamer. I think this is going to be a tough one for him, though. What do you think, Artosis?
Okay, so I actually really like him. And for anyone who's confused as to who Killer is, this is AKA Baxter. He's considered a little bit weaker than a lot of the other players, but he's actually deceptively strong, and I like some of the strategies that he'll bring into play. He's not afraid to play a little bit off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I recall a game that he had against Flash that was actually very close in the ASL, where he went for a Guardian Rush, and Flash was just like, you know, he intuited that there would be Guardians and where they were and scanned and got them. But, like, It was a game that he almost beat him in.
No, this guy definitely knows how to win. And I like your point about he plays kind of – he's willing to go off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Definitely has his own approach.
And look at some of the players that he's beaten here. He beat Mong 2-1, which is that's pretty legit right there. Like, Mong beat Action to qualify for this tournament.
Okay, we're going to bring out our next player, Mind.
For ASL, right?
Coming up here now. Mind is a legendary and godlike Terran player. Somebody who, if you were a fan of Terran, you definitely, in the past, would be studying this guy. But he hasn't had that success that we saw historically here in 2018. We're still waiting for him to make his big splash.
His first Star League win was actually the peak of his career, sadly. And when he won it, right, it's like Bisu was aiming for Bonjour, and then Mine just came out of nowhere. He's like, no, get out of here, I win.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was Bisu's second MSL finals in a row. And, you know, at that time, around that time, this is like when Flash was coming up as well. A lot of people in the scene were actually expecting it to be like a dual leaders, like we have Stork and Bisu for Protoss. It was going to be Mind and Flash, and it didn't quite turn out like that, but he's remained one of the strongest Terran players for sure. He definitely has a very cool style. He's very cognitive. You know, his macro might fall behind compared to a couple Terrans, but he's just a really strong, smart player.
Yeah, I think his mechanics are good, but yeah, not his strongest point.
Yeah.
And I think that's tough because, you know, obviously StarCraft 1 is such a mechanical game. You can have the brains, but if you don't really have the mechanical bronze, you're not going to be able to get away with a lot.
Indeed.
So we're going to start this out, and we're starting every match here at the KSL on this map for this phase of the tournament. It's going to be on Heartbreak Ridge, which is kind of cool because Heartbreak Ridge is one of these maps that is way different. Now, I know we were casting Zerg versus Zerg on it yesterday, so it's kind of hard for us to really highlight how unique of a map it is. But you start out on low ground. There is a high ground area outside your entrance. There is an area that can be occupied, let's say by lurkers or Marines, for instance, on the high ground behind your mineral patch. So there's a lot you got to watch out for. And also in the middle of the map, there's a lot of different lanes and avenues you can go down to try to whether go around your opponent or flank their army.
Indeed.
You name it.
Indeed there is. And we'll see what's used here in this particular matchup. I'm excited to see this in TVZ. By those stats there, it looks like TVZ was the closest matchup on this map, with the ZVP being very Zerg favored and PVT being very Protoss favored. But this is a new day and age. There's going to be a new meta.
Yeah.
It's going to look very different than old days.
It's one of the best parts about casting is to see how much the game's changed. So let's take a look at what a TVZ in 2018 looks like now with these two players, Killer and Mind.
Alrighty. Right-hand side is Killer.
Chewing gum. This is the first Broodera player I've seen chewing gum.
Left-hand side, we have Mind. Now,
not chewing gum. Very important.
I do believe, Tasteless.
He could have a mouth guard in. We wouldn't know.
I think we're going to see maybe a 1-1-1 out of Mind here.
Oh, I think that's actually... I hadn't really thought about the 1-on-1 until you brought it up for this map, but that actually sounds like a really good build for this map.
Yeah, and
this matchup.
I think most certainly a 2-hatch from Killer. I'd be kind of surprised to see a 3-hatch. And it's hard to word exactly why. It's just like there seems to be a lot of abusable locations.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I think that this map incentivizes aggression out of all the races really early on. I mean, any matchup you look at, you got to look at the way this map is shaped and think, okay, there's something here. There's some trick I could do and try to hurt my opponent right away.
Well, we shall see what builds that they go for here. Will it be that 1-1-1 play? Looks like his barracks can go right up front at the moment. And of course a hatchery first. Nothing weird going on here. But we will see in just a second if he's going to take that gas. This is the next important phase.
Okay, so the SCV is going to come out here now. Again, you know, with 2-hatch on this map, if you go mutas, yeah, there's certainly a lot of places you can hit workers, SCVs. I wonder, is there any? Is it worthwhile at all to try to go for a 2-hatch lurker on this map? I know the 2-hatch lurker is not exactly a popular or good build, but I mean, in general, but it seems like on this map with that high ground area, if a Terran is trying to expand right away,
you'd have to kill the temples. The thing is, 1-1-1 is so popular that I guess he can scout that it's not 1-1-1, which Mind is just doing a standard barracks expand here. But like, yeah, I guess you could siege up that natural pretty quickly. But I don't think we'll see it. But I mean, I don't know. It's Baxter. This guy will pull out some different off-brand strategies for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to see how this goes. Again, Mind's such a good, intelligent player, but TVZ is tricky because of how mechanically demanding it is. Now, I feel like maybe I'm underselling Mind here when I talk about his mechanics. He's just not quite like a Flash or a Light in this matchup.
Yeah, or a Last or something like.
Right. Yeah, he's not quite a monster.
Yeah.
In this.
Yeah, everyone has their own style and their own strengths and weaknesses for sure.
But I would actually imagine, just for the kind of player that Mind is, I think if he can get into, all teched up, I think he should be in good shape against Baxter now, or Killer, excuse me. So I'm waiting to see what kind of tech Killer's going to go for. What's Killer's game plan? Is he going to try to shut this game down, or is he going to go for a long, drawn-out game?
Well, this is kind of weird. His layer was a little bit late to the point where Mind might be thinking that he went speed first, but he actually went speed seconds after layer. So just kind of like a little bit of an off build order maybe here from Killer. It looks like Mind checking to see if anything is at that back door. He wants to make sure that nothing crazy happens. Now, keeping this SCV alive is going to be crucial because you do need to see if it is that Hydralisk Den you were talking about. Don't expect it, but you got to make sure. Otherwise, the lurkers will be bird up there and you'll have Marines and just be like, oh, I guess I can't clear that.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty tough at the highest levels for the Lings to actually catch the SCV. There's already been a second SCV sent out, and with only 4 Lings without speed right now, even if this SCV is killed, he certainly is right-clicked on a mineral patch, by the way. He'll be able to glide right through.
I think he's okay. He's not on a mineral patch. Maybe he's just looking for the third base. Yeah, no, he's not clicked on mineral patch right now. I don't think.
Okay,
this is gonna die.
Ling speed, Ling speed done. I guess it doesn't matter. So it's going to be the 2-hatch layer. I'm sorry, there's a drone going to the top left, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he's going to try to get his hatch up there, which makes sense if you're going to go for 2-hatch mutas and you're trying to get a third base up. The mutas are going to be able to cover that top left area so easily for a third.
Yeah.
You could be like hitting the Terran's main, and then if he tries to attack, you go out and hit that too.
And to be honest, it's more natural to defend there than the bottom right.
For
the more
sure.
I think about the map. So I think it's a pretty good location for him. Now, Speedling's coming over. Mind being very, very careful at the moment. He's not 100% sure that it's Spire, but you kind of assume that. He did go 2 racks. He has his bunker. So everything's okay for Mind right now. But I'm a bit nervous for him with that quick third over there.
Yeah. I'm wondering how Mind's going to handle this. Now, granted, Terran is always a little bit in the dark here. They have scans, but if you don't find out exactly where that base is, it would be surprised though if in the current meta, it's totally possible to assume that Berserk is always going to expand to the top left here, just because the more that we're casting games on this map, the more it seems to make sense, especially like in a TVZ, to do something like that here.
Look at this play by Killer. He picks off the first Marine to come on the high ground. That is a fantastic move. That's a very small thing, but, just to see him on top of that shows that this guy, he's in very good practice right now, very good form.
Okay, so he takes out those 2 fire bats. That actually gives the Lings a lot more muscle.
He actually pulled a Ling around the back to avoid shots there. Like, 2 fire bats can actually almost murder all those Lings, but...
Okay, so
he's playing really well.
Sorry, mutas are now out, so this small group of infantry is going to need to get back. And get back very quickly. Now, when you're trying to hold 2-hatch muta, you almost want to overmake turrets. You're trying to make so many turrets because... And it's not so much the concept of, okay, well, turrets will just kill the mutas off. Actually, the mutas can still come in there and try to snipe down turrets. It's when you get the mutas clumped like this, it's so hard to target down the weaker ones or do anything like that. And it's so easy to navigate them through the map. And honestly, dude, these turrets are actually a little bit too late. Like, the timing is a little bit off. Now,
oh, my God. Well, that makes up for it.
Yeah, losing 2 mutas. That's pretty huge.
That is gigantic. You really do need your Mutalisk count to stack up very, very quickly. So I guess Mind has done a good enough job forcing those mutas away from his mineral line. But you're certainly right that he was a bit late on that.
So this is a pretty tricky micro mistake here. Or I'm just saying, just a situation to try to control this in. The Terran wants to try to dive towards the Mutas. The Mutas want to try to hit the Marines as they're arcing away from the fight.
Yes.
And have the glaives bounce through the groups of infantry.
Yeah. You know, specifically, the Mutalisks, you're kind of like mirroring them. You want to kind of like get out of range and then stim and run towards them. You want to over-close the distance so all your Marines fire at once, and you want to target fire on the Mutas. So it is really quite a dance, and I mean, it's very micro-intensive on both sides. The Mutas kind of have, they're the ones that are initiating most everything here.
Yeah,
the Zerg player kind of decides when to do it, but you have to do your counter micro very well.
There's a couple of mini games with this as well. I mean, it's for instance worthwhile to try to force him to stim and then run out. I mean, there's not a lot of medics in that group. If you can get the medics to basically deplete their energy, then you can get really abusive on the map.
Yeah. Well, he's going to clear these Marines almost, but there's actually a group of Marines going to that third base in the top left.
Yeah, this is pretty technical here by Mind, because he did lose that group of infantry, but he's able to come in here and kill off all these drones.
Yeah, this is so worthwhile right now to kill this off. And after killing those drones, yeah, maybe this group of Marines doesn't get the hatchery. It should not get the hatchery. The Mutas should come in to clean this up. But from here, what he just really needs to do is keep an eye on what type of tech that killer is going for.
Yeah, so he's going to need to keep scanning the 2 locations where there are hatcheries.
Yeah.
Besides his third base, I doubt the tech's going to be put up there.
Yeah, no, you're quite right. So right now, there's nothing. That screams pure Muta. We haven't heard the scans yet from Mind. But eventually he will do that and check, right? And what he's looking for is there a Hydralisk Den? Is there a Queen's Nest? Is there an Evolution Chamber? Because all 3 of those can mean very different things. And when there's nothing, well, it just means Mutas.
Yeah, and even when the Terran looks like they're stable, if you can keep making Mutas, a lot of times you'll actually just break down the defensive position from one of these players.
If you have 3 gas, Terran ends up needing, if you open up like 2 hatch and are playing like this, right? Because the Terran can only go up to 3 racks in this situation. But Terran ends up needing splash damage. The Mutas will actually overwhelm 3 barracks into 4 barracks Marine.
This
without
can
question.
actually be disguised too. If the Terran's not really on top of counting the Mutas and trying to get a read on this, they might think that there's some tech in the lurkers if they don't spot that right away. By the way, placement is very important here. I mean, these turrets are not haphazardly being thrown down. They have to be bunched up in such a certain way that they can optimize the amount of damage they can do from various given positions here. By the way, the starport is on the way, but it's actually hidden under the factory, making it a little bit harder to hit, a little bit harder to see.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. He's now landed it. So he's going to be getting into science vessels pretty quickly here. Once you have irradiate, you're basically, on paper, able to stop the mass Mutas. You just irradiate the clumps.
Yeah.
And the Mutas have taken way too much damage.
The amount of Mutas that Baxter has right now, he should have an upgrade as well. I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't. He should be able to actually clear this group of Marines. And if he clears it efficiently, he's got a big edge at that point.
Yeah, I wonder if Mind actually moved out a little bit too soon. Now, it looks like Killer's going to tip his hand here and actually show that he's going to go for mass Mutas, saying it's probably more valuable to just kill this off. And the counterattack actually could be huge here. Mind does not have a knot.
Well said, Tasteless.
I am.
Well, he's got the 4 racks now, right? He's got
There's not very many Terran things there.
Yes. It's still just mass Muta. So if he continues on his Marines, he continues on his upgrades, his turrets, gets in that irradiate you've been talking about, that's how you can still win this game as Mind.
Now, even though 2 control groups of Mutalisks is scarier than 1, it's much, much harder to control in micro. Now, he's actually doing a pretty impressive job of this, but it is way harder to do this with 2. We've only seen a few players really do that perfectly. Like, I think we've seen Jaedong do that a couple times where it's pretty insane.
Pretty much. Well, you know, Killer was on Jaedong's team and all that, but I think it's not about the micro of the 2 groups of Mutas. I think he's just keeping them fresh, doing his harassment, trying to reduce the numbers of everything.
Look at that.
Yeah.
They can one-shot a turret if they all fire at once.
They got that +1 attack, man. They are definitely doing some serious damage every time they come in.
Okay, now you want to try to get these Marines in certain angles where they're in a line. And your Muta clump will just go right towards the point on that line. Oh, could have maybe gotten a science vessel assassination if Mind wasn't so on top of his game, pulling that science vessel away. You know, sometimes in rushes like this, the timing is engineered to actually get in there with a Scourge and kill the vessel as it pops out.
If you can kill that first vessel with a build like this, that is just so gigantic. Look at this. He is diving in right now with just a ridiculous amount of mutas, taking out a lot of missile turrets here.
Now, that was a pretty decisive play. I'm not clear on how many mutas are left now, but clearly they're going to get remade. I think he wants to actually try to make the back-breaking move. Now, the Irradiate goes down. He does pull out that injured Mutalisk.
Yeah, he pulls it out pretty quickly.
Here's the thing, man. If he can get these mutas over the barracks, you're not going to get any more Marines out. I think Killer might be going for the death move right now.
Yeah, his mutas are getting very low, though. If there was another Irradiate, he might just lose all of them. Look at that. A lot of them start to evaporate. There are more Marines on the way, more medics, tons of turrets being built.
He kind of messed up that control back there. And now it's, what, 8 mutas? Most of them softened up?
Yeah. Well, I know that there's a few more that have been rallied out in the map. And the game, I mean, it's not over, but I feel like Mind is countering it pretty well. Even though he's at a supply deficit right now, when he's going to have 2 Irradiates coming up.
Well, Mind is going to eventually develop into a complete Terran tech here.
Yeah.
They can actually push and expand where it's arrested development over here for Killer. He's just leaning on that muta tech as hard as he possibly can.
Well, I guess the one thing that is going to improve for Killer is maybe he'll get his +1 carapace finishing up. That doesn't help against a Radiate, unfortunately. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, get it out.
That hurt.
Yeah, that's rough. Oh God, even taking a little bit more damage there as that grazes by. So, this story is not quite over just yet. I mean, we do have Lurker Tech eventually coming up here. There is an inevitability, though, that Mind is going to be able to push out with a ridiculous amount of Medic Marine that Ling Muta just can't actually stop.
Yeah, especially with the Radiates.
I mean, Medic Marine were actually, funnily enough, kind of a problem right when Brood War came out, because a lot of people were saying, well, these things can stim and heal. I mean, can you actually stop this in all the matchups? The answer is yes, but...
Oh, my God. What a good Irradiate.
Yeah. So there's a whole art to even getting that Irradiate done, right? You want to try to click on a corner of the control group.
Yeah.
Not the center, because if you click on the center of that group of Mutalisks, you're going to get the one that's on top.
Yeah, and that's the easiest
If
one
you click on the
out.
corner, then they have to also click on the same corner that you clicked on to get the irradiated one that's underneath it.
There is an art to Irradiate,
Yeah.
no doubt about that. Okay,
Oh,
so
GG, he just taps
GGs.
out.
All right. Kind of an interesting game there. Killer going pretty all in overall. Just going the 2-hatch Muta into the 3-gas Muta all in, just non-stop harassment. But Mind dealt with it well. Even some of his move-outs that seemed a little bit weird, when he got all those drones in the top left, that was a very important moment. He lost 2 groups of Marines there, but he killed some Mutas and he killed all the drones. So I would say that was pretty worthwhile. And what you were saying about how you almost want to overmake turrets, we definitely saw that from Mind.
Yeah,
he made
for sure.
so many turrets that you might look at them and be like, ooh, is this BGH? Do you need a turret ring in your base? It's like, yeah, against this strat, pretty much.
Yeah, man. Okay, guys, we're going to hop into game number 2. Now, Mind did win that game. Killer showing a little bit of his own style, his own approach there on that matchup, but Mind stayed solid, kept the defense up, and ultimately managed to pull through there. So I feel like if Mind could keep doing that here in game 2 and game 3, I think we have a 3-0. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a 3-0. Like, he does get his map picks here. That's not his only strategy for sure.
I could see Killer winning one game, but do you think we're going to have more games where the Zerg is just kind of playing around a standard game?
Well, I don't think he's going to, for instance, go 3-hatch Muta into Lurkers taking a third, into Defilers like this, right? I don't think it's going to be...
That's what I'm getting at, though, is do you think that there's some, like Guardian Rushes, Mass Muta, something cheeky with Lings early on if the Terran's trying to fast expand, stuff like that?
I think
it seems to me to be up Killer's alley a little bit more. That's not to say that he can't win in a standard game, but I think if they both play standard, Mind wins more easily, where there's a higher chance for
that's
an
kind of
upset
an interesting idea, too, because I see what you're saying, but think of it this way also. What's Mind's strength? He's very intelligent. He can kind of look at a situation and be like, okay, this is the way that I should play this. This is how I should be. Oh, you're going Mass Muta? I'm going to make so many turrets it doesn't even feel right. Okay?
Yeah.
So kind of these offbeat strategies are almost easier for him to beat. If you had like a straight-up Sulky against Mind, that's where I look at Mind and I'm like, I don't know, bro. How are you going to beat Sulky?
Maybe the best offbeat strategy then is to do something like try to win with Lings like right away.
Maybe.
Where you're just like, now I won the game. You don't get to play a late game.
Maybe.
I don't know. Let's see. It looks like we're moments away from jumping into this. We're going to get to see what map it is. By the way, we did change the rules from Season 1. It is the winner who I'm sorry, the loser who gets to pick the map.
Yeah.
And so Killer's saying, in the way of Eddie.
Of an Eddie.
Of an Eddie. Sorry,
Yes.
that map just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
By the way, this was made by that Frequent guy, the same guy that
Yeah.
made Roadkill.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Bring them on. More maps.
Yeah.
Without great maps, you don't have a good RTS. That's the best part about RTS, honestly, is that we get to play on all these different maps and cool environments and places.
Yeah, if I wanted to play on just one map.
Imagine if we could only play this on Doto maps.
Yeah.
I mean, oh no. It's like, well, we figured out the whole game.
Should we go to the dragon? I'm like, I forget where
Blizzard,
it is.
you got to change the items.
That would never happen.
Oh, let's kill the Baron.
Yeah.
No, so this map, it's pretty new. It's pretty fresh.
Yeah. Eddie, it's a 4-player map. You have the low ground main base, and I mean, it's like a good map overall. I do like it quite a bit. You have kind of this pocket there that has multiple entrances into it. There's a lot of high ground. There are the island bases. I don't foresee us seeing those being taken in this matchup.
I hope we do, but I think you're probably right.
Well, you have to drop an actual unit there because there's
Island bases are kind of funny in TVZ
Yeah.
as well.
yeah.
Unlike TVP, where it's like, oh, actually, if you can get that island, like,
Terran can't break
Darren
that.
can't get you, man. Yeah.
When they take the islands, I'm like, okay, I got to go kill everything else.
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be in for a 40-minute game.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should be hopping into this game in a second here, guys. Get out there. Tell your friends to join us here at KSL. It's just day 2. There's so much more time. So many more games. So many more gamers. So many more GGs to be typed. All right, we're ready. Let's go.
All right, top right, we have Killer. Top left, we have mine.
The Overlord from Killer is headed towards the top left. So he's going to get the spot right away where Mind is.
I think that these spots are a little bit better for Killer. The back of Mine's natural is right pointed towards him, so his mutas can harass there quickly.
Yeah.
Also expanded that bottom right. That's going to be going to take a long time for Mine to actually walk down there and try to deny expansions. Not likely with a group of bio early on. But yeah, Eddie is like it's a new map for us here, right? It's on the ladder right now, so definitely people are seeing it a lot, practicing a lot, playing it a lot.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen too much exactly how it'll go. I feel like this is an SK Terran map for sure. I don't think that there is. I don't think that this is a good map for switching into mech.
No, I don't like this map for switching into mech. I think the way it's shaped is so
Whenever
weird.
you have the low ground main, you can't really defend a bunch of bases with Aroa tanks. That's why circuit breakers and fighting spirit are good for mech.
Oh, actually, that's a really
because
good.
you have
I
tanks
really
on
like how
high
you
ground.
put that.
Yeah, you put 4 or 5 tanks on high ground and nothing can break in. Whereas if they're on low ground, they miss half their shots. They don't do anything. The Ultras and Lings run in and kill
It's
them.
like not an ideal situation at all.
Yeah. And also when you have low ground mains, it's easier to get drops off and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of surface area for such things. So I do believe we'll see SK Terran. Now, will he go for a 1-1-1 or just a barracks expand? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's actually all great points, Artosis. Thank God we got a Terran guy here.
We're the best.
Protoss players, man. I look at a matchup like this, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, infantry with stim.
Or yeah.
Watch out for lurkers. You can stack them on top of each other.
That's true.
People are like, we know, tasteless.
Never do that against Protoss.
No, don't try that.
Okay, so it is a 1-1-1 opener here for mine.
Yeah, it's going to be hatched right away
Yeah.
for Killer, and along with a pool here.
Killer's going to scout him really late. You know, he's just set the Overlord out towards his base, but of course you got to peek into the main base. Now, does he go 2 hatch or 3 hatch? We're going to see from Killer just shortly here.
Okay, that SCV is coming out now.
He's assuming he's top
scouting on
left
his own?
now.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay, there is the factory. No doubt a command center going to be coming down
We
from
have
mine.
occasionally had these little snafus happen where they misread where the other player is.
Yeah.
This still happens 20 years into Brood War where somebody makes a little mistake, misscouts, and then doesn't realize what starting position their opponent's in.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Like-
it can only happen because there's so much stuff going on in any given game of Brood War.
It's quite true. And this game, that was a little bit of a misread. Like his
Yeah.
Overlord had vision of the entrance to that top left for quite a while, and then an SCV came out. So unless Mind is totally not on top of it, that's where he is. Anyways, not a big deal. He does need to check, though, like immediately, if this is a 1-1-1. I think he knows now. Okay, he's scouted bottom left, and the command center is late enough, so he should just blindly make a sunken now.
Okay. This is 3 hatch so far, so let's see what kind of game we're going to have here from Killer. We were both saying that Killer kind of likes to play a little bit more of a kind of tailored style of, trying to get some trick off early on in a ZVT, some theme going on in his play that's going to try to throw the other player off. But so far, this actually looks like a pretty ordinary ZVT, at least for the beginning builds.
Yeah, like 3 hatch is kind of the standard, although 2 hatch is very popular at the moment. This sunken might be just slightly late. Yeah, he's having a pull here, so a little bit mistimed by Killer. But he'll be all right. This Vulture shouldn't be able to get by. Maybe it'll get 1 drone. Oh, he gets a link. Okay,
yeah,
that's fine. Anyways, what I'm interested about here, because most of the top Korean pro gamer Zergs, when they scout a 1-1-1, they go 2 hatch play. And wait, he hasn't started his layer yet? Oh wait, no, it must be at the other.
It has to be the top right one.
Yeah. So
what?
No, he doesn't. Okay, so is he just going lings here? I guess he's just going to go mass ling.
We were right all along.
Now, to be fair,
this is like the Sixth Sense. Instead of being dead all along, we were just right all along.
Yeah, it looks like mass ling followed by
this is cool.
by Hydras.
Dude, this might just work.
The thing that we can definitely say about this is because the Vulture came out at that time, like that early, it means that it came before the add-on, so speed is going to finish later, and you really want speed against mass lings.
Okay, here we go. Speedlings are out. He's got to micro this Vulture's hearts out.
Yeah.
You can continuously micro Vultures and pretty much never lose them to Lings, but the other group of Lings is eventually going to get over to where that bunker that's being made is. And there's like no Marine there, right? Okay, there's one coming down. Oh!
Okay, he's actually got his SCVs in the way, so he's doing like an okay-ish job against this. The important thing is his other 2 Vultures are still alive out there.
Keep in mind there's going to be a Hydra push behind this, okay? And the Hydra push is, first of all, the Link timing attack here is already pretty weird, but the Hydra setup is even weirder. But, of course, if this doesn't work, all StarCraft theory points to the Zerg loses.
Yeah.
The Terran just develops into a healthy, this gets this engine going where they get all the right tech out, they develop and grow, and Zerg is in the Stone Age.
Well,
I mean, no layers still.
Already, this looks insanely favored for Mind. Killer didn't get anything really done with those Lings. It's not like an uncommon thing to see Zergs try, but now that he has mines up, he's pushed back Overlord so you can't even see. I think that from here you just have to tech up and everything as Killer. There's no way to go kill Mine.
Okay, this is just brutal.
Oh my gosh, you got 2 Overlords. Look at 33 of 19.
I heard you can repair those things too, Artosis, those Wraith guys.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Overlords. I'm like, no, you heard wrong.
No, it's not true. It's not true, Tasteless. Okay, so the Zerg has opted, instead of trying to do an all-in that had a really low probability of working, he's instead going to, like you were saying, get that layer up, but it's late. It's delayed. I mean, we're already having the science facility come now.
Look at when he's adding additional barracks here. It's before 7 minutes. Like, this is really good for Mind.
Yeah.
Normally, you're looking at trying to get out of your base against Zerg by like 9 minutes or so, and getting these barracks, like, he's going to have a healthy Marine count. His turrets can come a little bit later. The Wraiths are doing fine scouting. He's been supply blocked a lot. Yeah, maybe you were right about the 3-0 tonight, Tastes. I know you were dead wrong yesterday, but maybe today you're right, man.
So Lings are trying to clean up any stray mines that are on the map. Mind has so many things going for him right now, it's crazy. Map control, a contain. He's actually going to kill another Overlord here. He's ahead in tech. He's ahead in supply. He has a lot of different ways he can take a game like this. I mean, and there's an opportunity for him to try to come in here and just push and close the game later on, or he can just wait for the Zerg to expand and try to take a third base and punish him that way. I mean, there's a lot of ways to finish this story.
Yeah, but let's see what Killer does, right? He does have 3 hatches. His Spire's going to be finishing up. I'm not sure what he wants to get done with that. Is he going to actually switch into Mutas here? I almost feel like he should play something off-brand, like use Hydra Ling for a little bit, maybe grab an Evo, get his carapace, but
okay,
we're getting a little bit late for that as well.
Well,
Oh, wait, those are speed Hydras.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so that's actually a good scout, even though he lost those wraiths, which is never good. To see that your opponent got Hydra speed.
I actually think I'm looking at this a little bit differently than you, man. I actually thought that the speed was upgraded way before the layer came because he was going to do a Hydra all
Oh,
behind
maybe it
us.
was. Maybe it was.
Yeah, and then he thought, then he looked at it and said, no, it's just not going to work. And this is a tournament match, so I'm probably going to lose this game.
Yeah, it could
but
be
I
that.
might as well try. Well, he's still making more Hydras.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This is just a very interesting game.
I think it's all right for him to try this. But the thing is, he needs to beat the first push that comes out. I can't see him walking across the map and killing Mind. That seems impossible.
No, that can't happen.
But if he can kill the first army, that's a big deal.
So he's got range 2 here, so let's see what happens. I mean, the problem is that on paper, Medic Marine are always going to beat Hydras, unless you have an insane number of Hydras, right?
Yeah, you have to have a lot more. And like, well, I mean, if you add lurkers in, then sometimes that can fuzzy up the math for sure. But
of course, the problem is if you're fighting Hydra Lurker instead of Ling Lurker, you can just run away. The Lurkers burrow you back up.
You know,
you have any tank set up in siege mode, they have to really try to get in your face first.
Yeah, they'll have to charge all the way to the tanks before they even burrow, so that can definitely be an issue. Now, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to stay in that composition, but I guess the big thing that I'm seeing that's missing here is an evolution chamber. Is he just going to go for a drop, you think? That could be. Like, dropping when your opponent leaves a base is a good strat.
I mean, I guess that's fine. I'm not sure what else he really could do. Now, I feel like if this was Sulky in this position, he would win. Didn't he do like a 7 pool that didn't work in like last season that we casted, and then went into a Hydra Lurker?
Hydra Lurker Ling, and
and he won the game, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, well, he's going into Lurker Hydra, and with all these speed overlords out, I am really getting the feeling that we're going to see a big drop. Oh my God, did you see that scan?
That is so good.
He knows.
How did he do that?
Well,
That's so impressive.
I think in this situation, Mind is like, okay, you have a lot of Hydras out there. And he's thinking to himself, Hydras aren't good against Terran. And he thinks to himself again, how could I lose this game? Oh, a big Hydra drop. So he scans where you would be loading.
Well, it's smart. I mean, at this point in time, Mind's basically seen everything here. So I think there's a chance that Killer goes ahead and just tries the drop anyways, or just waits.
Yeah, I think you have to wait until he leaves his base.
Well, I think, for sure that. And behind that, Zerg's going to try to secure the third base. But eventually a drop in here would be pretty good. Okay, so here comes Terran pushing out now.
Well, the Overlord's actually split up a little bit. Okay, I think those are all full of lurkers.
Yeah. He's had 6 lurkers total, so he's going to have 6 lurkers dropping there. Now he's going to see this. Let's see if Mind turns around, because one thing I'm wondering is, can't Mind just go ahead and push and close the game out? Oh, dude, there's a tank back there. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
okay.
he just GG's.
Wow, Killer GG's in kind of the saddest ways.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, what can you say? He tried to Ling all in, then he went for Hydras.
Feels bad, man.
And then he went for a lurker drop, and nothing worked for him at any point.
You know, to be frank, this has been a pretty humiliating series for Killer. I mean, Mind is just basically, I guess Killer's like, riddle me this, and then Mind already has the answer. And
yeah, I think that a better counter to Mind is just like a top-tier macro Zerg, like a Sulky, where you're doing these strats and Mind just like knows how to deal with it. He's like, oh no, a couple turrets, I'll have a tank and a bunker there, and I still have enough to kill your army if you bring it all out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Killer's going to do here in Game 3. He's definitely tried some abstract stuff that always seems to allow Mind to be in a better place the longer the game goes on for him, right?
Yeah. I was hoping the series would be a little bit closer. But right now, it's looking like it might be a 3-0. If that was his #1 map pick, it went like that.
We've seen comebacks happen before, so we can hope for Killer that he might be able to pull it off. But right now, just from what we've seen from Game 1 and 2, I don't think so, man. No reasonable person thinks that. Stick around. We're going to be going to Game 3 in just a little bit.
그때는 그랬다. 학교에서도 학교 밖에서도 언제나 친구들과 함께였다.
어서 와.
스타 생기는데요.
그래.
빨리 주세요. 빨리요.
좀 기다려라 좀. 여기 하루 이틀 오냐.
네,
감사합니다. 감사합니다.
야 너네 열받는다고 그 키보드 세게 두들기면은 게임 꺼버릴 거야.
네.
근데 뭐 할 거야?
당연히 저거지 마.
그거 내 거야. 줘.
알았어.
야, 헌터는 센터지.
그렇지. 오야 가자 시작. 야 저글링 말고 못할 거라고 뭐하냐.
뭔 소리야? 야, 초반에 저글링으로 막아야지. 뭐하면 거냐?
아 답답하네. 오야 한시.
오케이, 오버 보낼게. 몇 시 방향?
에이 기운 좀 받아.
그런 우리에게 스타는 당연한 일상이었고
그만 먹고 집중 좀 해라.
그 순간만큼은 서로를 의지했고 서로를 위해 움직였고 그렇게 스타는 우리를 하나가 되게 해주었다.
야 그나저나 중석이는 좀 컸냐?
야, 벌써부터 다 컸다고 까불어. 아유,
뭘 너랑 똑같네.
근데 보면 불쌍해 죽겠어. 다니는 학원만 몇 개인지. 아유, 진짜.
아 여보세요? 집 근처야. 알겠어. 빨리 들어갈게요. 아씨 빨리 들어오래.
그게 아니라 빨리 도와줘. 야, 빨리 나 살려 빨리.
야, 한시.
오케이, 취지.
야 내가 이긴다 그랬지? 어?
내가 저글링을 뽑는 이유가 있다니까. 네 우주 방어가 옛날 우주 방어가 아니야?
니나 잘하세요.
머리만 건들지 말라고.
알았어.
어렸을 때부터 너 그게 문제야. 머리가 예민하다고. 아 진짜.
야야야 같이.
이젠 각자의 인생을 살고 있지만 시간이 흘러도 변하지 않는 것이 있다.
우리 실력 아직 안 죽지 않았냐?
안 죽긴. 야 내빌드 못 봤냐? 98년부터 이어온 준서표 빌드.
그래, 우리 이제 어디가? 추천한데 뭐 좀 먹을까?
아이 좀.
나 와이프 기다린다. 빨리 가자.
아 너?
으이구.
적어도 스타를 하는 순간만큼은 함께였던 그 시절로 돌아가 여전히 하나가 된다는 것.
야, 빨리 와.
그대로네. 그때 그리고 지금 그리고 언제나 스타크래프트 리마스터.
자, 또 위쪽입니다. 유진우 선수 빨간색 11시. 유디올 선수.
근데 유진우 선수가 그 프로의 특성상 1경기를 해보면 느낌이 온다고 말씀드리지
감오죠,
않았습니까?
감오죠.
근데 방금은 빌드에 엇갈려서 빌드가 갈려서 잡은 건 잡은 거지만 상대가 12풀이라든지 구드론 이런 운영을 상대로 이긴 건 아니거든요. 그래서 구드론 바로 한 번 더 해봐도 돼요. 이번에 유진우 선수가 구드론을 한 번 더 하고 만약에 상대 운영에 진다? 그럼 그때 가서 빌드를 바꿔도 안 늦습니다. 그래서 이제 프로게이머 출신들이 그런 판짜는 능력, 상대방을 읽어내는 심리적인
그렇죠.
부분이 좋기 때문에 유진우 선수가 뭐 지금 오버로드를 생산을 하고 12%를 해도 상당히 좋은 결정이고요. 아니면 오히려 또 한 번 구드론을 해도 되겠고요.
그렇죠. 1세트를 가져간 자의 특권. 일단은 라바가 꾸물꾸물거리고 있다는 거 보여주고 있고요.
자,
스포닝풀.
이건 전 경기의 원한이 담긴 구드론이죠.
자, 눈에는 눈, 얘는이.
예, 전 경기의 원한이 담겨 있는
예.
스포닝풀입니다.
그렇습니다. 그럴 때 유진우 선수.
근데 유진우 선수는 본인이 빌드 싸움에서 일단 한번 이기지 않았습니까?
예.
그래서 마음이 안심되어 있는 상황이기 때문에 안전하게만 한다면
그렇죠.
내가 뭐 딱히 질 일은 없겠다라고 결정이 섰을 것 같아요.
지금 그 유두열 선수는 걸려만 봐줘. 나도 3분 만에 끝내줄 거야. 걸려만 봐.
그리고 이제 구드론을 할 시에는 오버로드를 보통 저렇게 안 보내요. 예. 역으로 보내거든요. 역으로 보내서 내가 구드론인 걸 최대한 늦게 알리게끔, 그리고 상대방의 위치도 좀 애매하게 알게끔 날리는데, 이렇게 되면 유두열 선수 입장에선 드론도 한 마리 튀어나가서 상대방 위치부터 확인해야 돼요.
예.
지금 어디 있는지 모릅니다.
그렇습니다. 오버로드는 아직까지 5시에 도착하지 않았고.
근데 보통 구드론의 오버로드를 저렇게 실수로 보내면 대각선으로 뛰어요. 예, 대각선으로 뛰는데 대각선으로 뛰게 되면은 진짜 최악입니다.
그렇죠. 어차피 지금 오버로드가 11시 방향으로 횡으로 가고 있는데, 서쪽 방향으로 가고 있는데, 저글링 대각으로.
근데 보통은 대각으로 보내요.
보통은 일반적으로.
네, 근데 오버로드 방향부터가 일단은 좋지가 않았기 때문에
일반적이네요. 갑니다. 그 집이 아닙니다.
자, 가로로 일단 가로로 가요.
저글링 나왔어요, 근데.
근데 유진우 선수도 이 저글링을 보는 순간 저글링을 약간 후방 배치해주고 드론 3기 정도를 끌고 나와서
예.
앞마당이 완성될 때까지 버티기만 하면 돼요. 근데 이 싸움을 이준희 선수가 일단은 먼저 때렸어요. 그 드론이 도망가는
도망가면 이게 아니.
네, 좀 희한한 상황이 나오네.
What's up, everybody? We're back here at the KSL. And right now, this is looking to be a very one-sided series. We're hoping that Killer can come back. Artosis was making fun of me right when we went to break. 'Cause
Well,
I said something along the lines. Wait, what did I say exactly?
No one reasonable would think he's going to
No
come back.
reasonable person would think that Killer could come back. Right as we went to commercial.
No one thinks that.
You just,
no
he
reasonable
turns to me and he goes, wow, Tasis, you're really good at your job. Like, yeah, that
What
is
kind
a,
of
that is
statement
a
is
pretty
this?
bold statement there.
There
It's
could
like,
be a reasonable
Killer's
person.
parents are watching like, no,
They're not
I'm
reasonable?
unreasonable. We're thinking that they can't come back.
Ace is just making bold statements. That's it.
Okay, we're going to be going into Game 3 in a minute here. So far, the first 2 games is like Killer tries something, and before he actually dies, he's like, okay, let's go to the next game.
Yeah.
It's like, GG, get me out of here. So,
He
yeah, I mean,
needs
let's
to-
see if he can do something this time around.
Maybe a tech rush or something like that this game. I'm excited to see which map it's going to be on. I'm not really sure where he'll go.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Like
He might pick something really basic, you know?
well, he might just do something really crazy. Let's go to Benzene, and then he goes like Lurkers
I'm
or
like,
something.
no reasonable person would think that.
no reasonable person.
Well,
Love
let's
you
see,
just
man.
judging what's reasonable and
Yeah.
like
I
how
get
you could be
I get to be
unreasonable.
the authority on who's a reasonable human being here and who is not.
Listen, you got to take this control thing that you got going on about who's reasonable, unreasonable. Bring it on Twitter, okay? Because that's where that belongs.
That's where the voices of reason come
Yeah.
from, man.
oh
Twitter.
My God.
So, yeah, we're going to jump into this game as soon as we can. I believe there might have been a small delay of some sort.
They can't find Killer. He's on the train headed home right now.
He's already out, man. He's scaling down the side of the building right
Yeah.
now with little suction cups on the windows. You guys got to come to our studio down here. It's pretty cool. We're like on the top floor of this badass building.
We're actually on
Nerds.
the second top floor, aren't we?
No, floor 13's the roof.
Oh, is it? We should go up there.
I don't actually know for sure, but
Oh, okay.
they don't know. They can't. You can't. No,
That's unlucky,
No reasonable
Tasus.
person can assume that I would lie about that. So
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
All right. You think I need a bigger shirt, Artosis? They gave me here, man.
I really like this shirt.
Yeah,
on
this
here.
shirt really compliments my physique here, Artosis.
It's like you're trying to be a nobleman, but you're just not. You like show up.
I'm trying to be a bard, but I'm not.
Yeah.
All right.
It just doesn't work out. Yeah. Let's just stay on camera all night.
Let's
and
just stay on camera. Let's just make them look at these awesome shirts they gave us to wear, man. This is just. Now I want to point out a little difference in style here is you button it at the top, where I'm a little bit more of a live and let live guy over
Yeah.
here.
I think it just won't fit around your neck, Tasis. We call him Nick the Tree Trunk Plot.
Okay,
I told you, benzene. Look at that.
benzene.
All right. What crazy thing do you have planned for us here, Killer? Or maybe something normal.
No, it's not going to be normal. It's
You know,
going
I
to be really
wouldn't
weird.
mind him taking the same approach as Game 1, but maybe going into Guardians rather than just Mass Muta. That can be a tricky thing to solve.
That could be. I actually feel like that. I think mine's going to be ready for that. I don't know, guys. I'm
Well, you can't just be ready for it. You have to like make your turrets and micro your Marines. It's not like you just have like an irradiate ready. It's like, no, it's a two-hatch.
no,
You
no,
can't
no
do it.
reasonable person would
No,
think that.
no reasonable person.
No. Benzene, 1.1. Let's see what happens, man.
Okay.
Kinda cool to
if
see.
you say so.
Yeah. This is
No
how
reasonable person
this
would
is
see
how
what
I lead
happens
us
here.
through this game and this cast, guys. Yeah, I don't know what to really expect here from Killer. Again, I don't feel like there's any pressure at all on mine to do anything spectacular. I
No.
think he just needs to tech into Medic Marine and get some science vessels and see what this scumbag Zerg's going to throw his way.
Yeah. I think a 1-1-1 opening might be a smart one for him as well here.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I know I've been saying that a lot, but if your opponent might do a technical cheese against you, then it's pretty good to have a
the
vessel.
next best of 5 Artosis talking about how many needs to 1-1-1. We're just like, Artosis, we're on to you, man. Okay, I believe whatever the delay was, we should be ready to go in just a second here. Do you think there's any chance that Killer can pull a game here, Artosis?
No reasonable person would think that, Tasis.
Exactly. All right. You got it.
So we have Killer in the bottom left.
Not much of a killer this series so far.
It keeps messing me up because they have the red name as Killer, and then he's blue, and then the blue name is mine, and he's red.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. It's like when you write green with an orange color, and you're like, what color's that? You always say green.
Yeah.
You know?
It messes with your mind.
Yeah. Not Tasis, though. He can't read, so he just is like, that's the color green.
I'm having a hard time not calling Killer dead guy, man, because he's done no killing so far, Artosis.
No, that's.
Oh, and see, guys, that guy might win. This guy's saying he KSL over baseball. He might win a keyboard and a mouse.
Yeah.
You know what he's not going to win is a baseball or a glove or a bat.
No, probably not.
Probably not. So he came to the right place.
But maybe he already has those things, and he will bring his keyboard home and say, there's too many lights on this, and then breaks it with the baseball bat.
Could be.
This looks like a 1-1-1 to me because of that depot way up front.
Yeah, way out
Seems
there.
like you're walling here, but this is... Oh, I know what wall this is. Okay. You can actually do a tight wall, but your Marines pop out on the outside, so that's kind of peculiar. What's he... Oh, is he trying to go command center first?
I mean, he can. He's got enough money saved up. I don't see a barracks thrown down anywhere, so why not?
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, mine's in a 2-0 lead. I mean, sure, going command center first is always a little bit risky, but you're allowed to take risks in a best of 5 if you won 2 games in a row.
Absolutely.
And of course, there's not going to be any real opportunity for Killer to punish this, as he went hatch, then gas, and then we'll get a pool.
Yeah, it will go completely punishless. And when you go command center first, you can do everything at once. You know, there's all these different builds. Like there's 2 racks that gets the Fast Academy, and then there's +1 builds with 5 racks, oftentimes, or 4 racks, where you get a really quick +1 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With command center first, you actually do both.
It's kind of crazy.
You get an eBay and an academy and 2 barracks.
You become an everything man.
Yeah.
Flying man.
It's pretty.
It's
a pretty baller
sick,
build
man.
if you get away with it.
Yeah. There's a couple builds like this in StarCraft where if you just, economically, where if you just get away with that expand, the amount you can leverage the situation is huge. Of course, there is risk involved. I mean, you can just straight up lose a game. And
Well, if they go 9 pull speed, the game's over.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. 4 pull, 5 pull, any of that stuff will just kill you. So the depots are being laid down here. Now, Killer, knowing all the timings of these openings, is immediately going to know, oh, crap.
Yeah.
He's balling.
And he again waits until he has almost 200 gas to start his layer, and then starts his gas. I mean, maybe it's a mineral balance that I'm missing here. But
you know,
this also throws a Terran off a little bit because you're watching the gas, right? Like,
yeah,
literally you look at when they start mining and then add 20 seconds to that, and if layer doesn't start, you start to suspect speed.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's making a wall anyway, so it doesn't
shenanigans.
even matter.
Okay, well, I mean, you're a Terran player, Artosis. What do you feel like is the biggest threat to Mind? I mean, obviously he has an advantage inherently due to the 2 openers that were chosen on each side, but is there something that Terran needs to watch out for? Is there a Zerg trick where you can pull a fast one?
There's only
get him?
2 things. 1, check if it's 2 hatch lurker. 2, have your turrets up in time. If he does both those things, the gigantic advantage stays with him. I don't want to say completely gigantic. It's not like this is unplayable for Killer. It's just, if you get away with command center first, you are just feeling fine.
Okay, so Academy's on the way. We did see a Spire get planted down there. right now it's still 2 hatch here for Killer. I think that's a drone there in the very top left, though. So he'll probably get his third base in this very far removed location. Yep, right up there.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to get over there for sure. But he's going to have to keep the pressure on anyways with this 2-hatch play. So if Mind actually ever does get to move out fully, then that's where it's going to get very scary here for Killer. Let's see what Killer wants to go for. I really think it is going to be Muta. Because even if you went Lurker here, there's 2 entrances in that third base. So there's just like too many places to really try to defend if you're going to go defensive.
Okay. With this wall in here and the SCV continuously scouting, I mean, this is a pretty straightforward game on the Terrence part. We can't glean that much from Killer until we see how his control is going to be and where he's going to hit with those mutas. This still is, even if you got the CC up like we see here, 2-hatch muta is nothing to sneeze at, man. I mean, this is a real threatening thing coming forward.
Totally.
That can absolutely do a ton of damage, but I just can't imagine that Mine isn't braced for impact in a really easy way. By the way, the SCV is about to scout that third up there.
Yeah, definitely a very useful scout. Killer with some nice micro there again, trying to pick off a single Marine. Doesn't quite get it.
So he sees the moment this hatchery is going to finish up here. 4 barracks is going to be what he's going to be macroing at pretty quickly here.
Yeah, and he's just got to get his turrets up at this point. You just play this safely, make sure that you are not going to take too much damage from these mutas. Continue to mass. I mean, he's going to have his range and his stim done. 4 racks Marine Medic. Don't forget, the last time we saw him open up, right, he was on 3 racks Marine Medic, and that's because it was a racks expand rather than a command center first.
Yeah,
so
the explosion of minerals you get right away is really powerful. Keep in mind that with the number of Marines that are here, if Mine is really good at control, he can actually fight the mutas head on. Now, little tip for you guys at home, you never want to A-click past the mutas. In a lot of RTS situations, especially in Starcraft, you want to A-click on the ground behind the army so that everything attacks whatever's closest. Against mutas, a lot of times you want to just click on the muta so that everything stim targets that down.
Basically, every time you want to do that. If you just let him attack, he'll never kill a muta. You have to actually target mutas. It's a very important part of the micro. Now, he is pushing forward so quickly. Killer is actually being really greedy here, taking a 4th base immediately.
Yeah, this is
mineral
crazy ambitious. Oh, that's so good.
Oof. It is certainly not something you see very often, but he must stop this group of Marine Medics. If he loses his drones at that 3rd base, this is going to start to spiral.
Oh, good shot there by Killer. You can see Mine's screen wasn't over that location. It's really hard to actually move the Medic Marine out on the map like this. I mean, especially when you have to go back and manually make all those Marines and Medics.
Yeah, generally what you'll do is you'll just hotkey every barracks with a play like this and watch your Marine Medics, because if the mutas come in and you don't micro immediately, you're going to lose a lot.
Okay, so now that the second group has merged with the first as far as infantry goes, I'm really wondering if Mind is going to have enough muscle to break this, because this is a lot. Keep in mind there's actually a variety of locations that Mind can attack. It might look initially like they have to go for the expansion. Not necessarily. You could actually attack right into the natural.
Yeah, that's very true. And there is a 4th base that's just sitting there. There's Overlords all over the place as well. He's going to pick one of them off here, and that actually supply blocks him. Well, that one muta flying in for the flank or something. I'm not really sure, but okay, that's a lot of mutas. If he can clear this, then he's going to be on 4 bases pretty scot-free.
Yeah, and then this will be a moment where Killer really has actually played his hand very nicely, considering how these games started out.
Okay, he has got to clear now, and I think he will. This shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, +1 finishes just then, so he gets most of the engagement done already. Now, the other group of Bio is actually going up towards the top left, but...
Yeah, that's not enough.
Yeah,
In fact, the mutas alone can just A-click on that, and everything's going to die. So this is a 4-base Zerg right now against a 2-base Terror. Now, it is 4 Raxes. Vessels are going to be an inevitability here, but I got to say, I mean, this is probably the best game we've had from Killer so far.
It certainly is. You're right about that. And the fact that he's going to be on 4 bases, to be fair, it's only 3 gas. But if he gets a good drone saturation, he can really hit his stride macro-wise. Look at this. He's got almost 900 gas built up.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, huh?
He's just got to make sure that this Bio does not overpower him.
So where do you think this Zerg wants to take the game from here?
It looks like he wants to go pretty standard with these 4 bases, and I think that that's all right. If he just goes into Lurkers from here, he gets a Carapace upgrade, and just starts pumping out a bunch of links because he's going to have so many extra minerals. You know, that's something that can definitely hold, especially with all the little bridges on this map.
Yeah. Okay. So we have the army regrouping again over here. Now the mutas are going to try to come in once more. This is a pretty hefty amount of mutas.
Yeah, picking off a decent amount right there. There is a single sunken at that top left, which is kind of important. It will mess up AI and buy a little bit of extra time. It's not really a threat against the Marine Medic, though, so he needs a lot more units.
Yeah, another scan down here confirms that the muta count is not going to start to dwindle anytime soon.
Now, we do have a Radiate coming out. That Science Vessel is going to be popping out shortly here as well. There are a lot of mutas out, but I would be surprised if he does not switch into his Lurkers at this point. He's kind of almost faked this. Well, it's not exactly a fake. Like, he is going mass muta, but I don't think it's forever.
Well,
and Mind might think it is.
I mean, eventually vessels are going to come into play, and that's when the mutas are going to start being picked off. Now, this is such a large number. Can he actually wipe out this group that's over here?
Yeah, he certainly can with this many. Hey, that is another army cleared. Mind hasn't actually made headway.
Yeah, this is actually pretty huge. Mind's basically in timeout now. He can't leave his base for a while.
And look at this. He's got siege tanks. Are those going to help against Mutiling? No. Absolutely not.
2 more macro hatches going down here. And, I mean, I don't know when Terran can ever get a third base now. Now,
well, no reasonable person would try to take a third base at this point.
No reasonable person would. Okay, the mutas are coming in now. He does not quite have enough for an Irradiate. 2 points away.
Here we go. Irradiate.
Oh,
that
that's
was
such
a great
good
one.
That's such a good Irradiate. Oh, my God. Okay. He can't get that out. Oh!
He scans, so they take the extra turret hits as well. Very nicely done there. Of course, no Hive tech yet, so as long as there's no Hive, you're still in the game as a Terran player, right?
Yeah, it's not until that Dark Swarm gets right to the outside of your natural.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always hope.
That's what's going to end up killing you most
I'll
of the
tell you
time.
what, man, after that great Irradiate on those mutas, I think he has to try to start pushing out on the map.
Oh, absolutely.
You have
to
to assert yourself.
Yeah, and he does need to make that third base. You are certainly right about that. There are so many macro hatches right now. I wonder if Mind is just going to kind of go all in and just try to do a death push. I think scanning that and seeing that there's no Hive, it's going to give you kind of mixed emotions, because if he knows how many hatcheries are out on this map right now, it's like, yeah, you don't have defilers, but the army of Zerg should be bigger.
Yeah, 6 racks now. I think there's 2 vessels in the group. Am I right about that?
Yeah, there should be.
I mean, that's definitely enough. Tanks here too. We got to see if these Scourge are going to connect with these vessels. Now, Terran's actually moving out. Dude, look at Killer's map control.
Yeah,
he's got something in every single spot on the map, pretty much.
It's pretty crazy. And look at this. He actually forces Mind to turn around. That many units counterattacking you will get on top of your barracks and the game will end. So he cannot just do a base trade or anything like that. Mind has to kind of chase this army. But, okay, he started his third base, finally. We see a command center being built up right above the mineral.
Granted, it hasn't landed there yet. I mean, it's still not being utilized. I'm getting worried here for Mind. I mean, Killer has so much supply here. He might just be able to overwhelm Mind. I mean,
that was not a command center.
Oh my God, you're right. That was a science facility.
Okay, so Mind is like, all his eggs are in this one push.
And there's so many lurkers here. I mean, it would take the greatest control ever. Now, I don't know about those Irradiates when the mutas were actually there too.
I think it's all right to reduce lurker count right now. Like, the mutas are not going to damage the Marines too badly. They will deal with it. What will get the Marines is good lurker spine. So if he can reduce that a little bit, and look at this, reducing him again. This is good.
Okay, doesn't even manage to get that tank that actually gets pulled away with 1 HP. You know, if he has a couple good engages, he could totally flip this game.
I tell you, I don't know if he can, though, because where do you push? Do you push up the ramp into the top left? Then you're against a wall. There's not a lot of area to micro, right?
And the Defiler mount started here. Okay, we've got that attack coming.
Oh my God, Mind is so dead.
Yeah, that's just way too much. I think Mind might actually tap out here.
Now, this was a bit more of a standard game coming out of Killer.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to see that, because it wasn't like he was doing some sort of very technical kind of all-in weird play that Mind is going to excel against.
I think this is what he needed, though, to be honest, because both you, me, and I guess Mind as well were probably expecting something cheeky and sneaky.
Yeah.
When all he had to do was mess up.
Cheek and sneak.
Yeah, as they said. Well, the Defiler tech is a reality now.
There is so much Zerg.
It's just crazy.
It's hard to imagine Terran ever holding this off. Down 30 supply right now.
Well, so much of Brood War comes down to micro, but when you have this much, you can kind of do whatever you want, you know?
Macro does trump at the end of the day.
Oh my God, and it gets worse. One vessel now out in the middle of the map.
It always gets worse before it gets better, Tasteless. And it's not going to get better.
It's not going to get better this game. This game is a disaster. Okay, so I guess Mine's going to try to play this one out. Now he sees with that scan that, in fact, defilers are here. Of course, that's after he lost all those science vessels as well. Ultimately, the end game in a lot of TVZ is the science vessels trying to irradiate the defilers, and the defilers throwing down Dark Swarm here.
Well,
So
a huge amount of Lings coming in. He actually clears the Lings for the most part, but loses his forces. And there's so much macro behind Killer right now. He can continually have battles like that.
yeah, he doesn't have to trade favorably. He just has to crash his army into Mine's army.
Yeah.
So I guess Killer just is going to continue to grow on the map here.
No reason
Continue to
Terran would
stretch out.
stay in this game any longer.
No, I kind of think of the same thing here. This is Mind King Prime over here. So that was for you, Artosis.
Mind King Prime.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't think he's going to cry after this loss,
Yeah,
though.
that's right. But will he pull all his SCVs and have them run into lurkers before
Yeah,
the game ends?
that's true.
That's the question. Okay. Well, guys, there's not that much more we can really say here. We see that Mind is going to try to come out, is going to try to assert himself, but Killer with such an overwhelmingly large amount on the map, and no third base here for Mind means that this game, it just can't realistically last that much longer.
Well, he's going to run out of resources completely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing his best to be efficient in all these ways. He's made a couple drop ships. He's continuing to get some upgrades at least. It's just, look at the mini-map. Look at the vision.
Yeah. No, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
+2 armor here. It's kind of funny
man.
the Killer hasn't actually closed this out, but... And we now have the Ultralisk Cavern.
It's always hard to kill anybody that doesn't want to die.
Yeah, Ultralisk Cavern, a good pick when you have the 4th gas, which is now being taken here at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Especially now that Defilers are out. You can get into Ultra and Defiler. Becomes just about impossible to do much.
Yeah, so he can basically leapfrog these Dark Swarms all the way to the starting location of Mine.
Yep, and that is coming, but he's still got some Irradiates left in him.
Yep, Lurker's going to try to come forward now. I mean, there's just nothing you can do, especially with his tank and siege mode here. Now, here comes a big drop. This is something.
Yeah, maybe he can kill this base. Oh, he's going to go for the one on the top left.
He's like, oh, there's a base here. Okay, I'll drop here too.
Yeah, one at each. If it's like 7 fire bats and a medic, maybe.
Okay. Well, I mean, that drop did do something, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there are enough vessels out here. I guess he can try to irradiate and shoo away those defilers if he can play pretty much perfectly.
You know, if the game lasts long enough, Irradiate can kill everything over time.
Yeah.
It's a renewable resource, you know?
Okay, so, I mean, Mine did get that top spot over there.
Yeah, he killed a base.
The problem, though, is that Mine has a limited amount of time in this game unless he gets a third base up. And there are lurkers. There has been Dark Swarms put where the third base would be taken.
Look at those fire bats. Ooh. Fire bats against Zerglings are like one of the great pleasures in life, let me tell you.
Okay, the lurkers can start to push
There's
even
no
further
Dark Swarm
forward.
this time. Look at this. Mine is just clearing stuff.
By the way, there's some big attack down here at the very bottom center of the map. We don't think we've got a shot of it yet.
Oh,
okay.
He's trying to make a base. Where are those going to go?
Wow, he's
like, I'm
almost
really
out.
going to mine those patches now.
You know, even though Killer's winning this, I feel like he's got this crazy lead and he should win, but he's having a hard time closing it, Artosis.
Well,
there it is, GG.
Then the Ultras pop out. The true closing unit in ZBT. Okay, so Killer takes that game. And you know what? This is how he should play. We were talking about this in the beginning, where it's like, if you're doing something very technical against Mind, he's good against that. If you're playing more of a straight-up macro game, that's where he falters a little bit more. That's not really his forte, right? you don't necessarily want to go toe-to-toe against Flash in a macro game, but you're getting up to 4 bases and just massing, flooding units all over the place. Mind isn't the type of guy that, you know, takes map control then makes 3 command centers like a Light or a Flash, you know?
So, I mean, we'll see what happens in Game 4, but at least we have not a complete one-sided series here.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Because reasonable people want to see a long series.
That's right. And I'm wondering what we're going to have now in Game 4. It actually seemed to be fairly easy for Killer once he had the tech set up. Basically, once he held off the initial attack and then got a 4th base up.
Once he killed like
fine.
a couple groups, 2-3 groups of Marine Medic that were out on the map. But the thing is, that's actually normal. If you're losing groups out on the map, sometimes you can lose like 1 group, but once you start losing like a 2nd group, a group being like, you know, a 12-pack of Marine Medics, right? It's like 12 Marines, 2 Medics might be what we would call a group of Marine Medics. But once you lose a couple of those, it's like, what did you gain things? Were you
This
just
is a funny
Zerg
thing
can
about-
lose units here because they're actually getting more economy on 3 bases.
This is a funny thing about TVZ is that sometimes you'll have a Ling Lurker army wipe out almost everything and you don't lose anything, and sometimes you'll have Medic Marine wipe out a Ling Lurker army and the Terran doesn't lose anything at all. You can absolutely have completely one-sided fights. And back there with the defense we saw from Killer, he was able to take out Mine's army several times in a row, and ultimately there was no way that Mine could get across the map. There was no way he could get a 3rd base.
Yeah.
And that's how Killer closed it out.
Yeah, he did reinforce a couple times on his Marine Medic ball out in the front, but the thing is, if the Zerg is constantly dogging your Marine Medic army, he's running around trying to pick things off, you know he's building units to be able to defeat this so that you don't just kill his base. So you have to actually keep on reinforcing, Eventually you will get to a critical mass that, like you said, just kind of massacres things like Ling Muta.
Yeah.
But he never quite reached that gigantic number.
Now, Mind gets to pick the map since he's finally lost a game. What map is he going to pick?
Maybe Fighting Spirit.
Something very basic.
It could be.
Fighting
like
Spirit is your basic bro map.
Yeah, I mean, Circuit Breakers is an okay choice, I think, as well. Trying to think what else
Maybe
you would
Fighting
choose.
Spirit, actually.
Well, it matters the way you like to play. Like, if he wants to do a mech switch, that's the map. That's the map for mech switches.
I don't think he wants to do that.
I don't think he... Well, the thing is, I think he'd be better at a mech switch play. Let's see what it is. Circuit Breakers.
Circuit Breakers.
So, I mean, it is a big macro map. I think Circuit Breakers is a little bit better for SK Terran, and Fighting Spirit's a little bit better for mech late game.
Yep.
Between those two, but... The thing is, you can really do either on either map. Now, does he open up 1-1-1 or not? I think that's a big question here. Because now that you've done a 14cc and you've done 1-1-1, there is always the chance that Baxter will do something crazy like a 9-pool speed. And if you catch one of those builds, occasionally you just win.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize the record for TVZ was actually that wide of a gap here
Well,
on
these
this map.
are pretty old stats.
Yeah,
but,
that's a good point. I mean, a lot of times the way a TVZ looked several years ago, it's kind of a moot point to what people are doing now, you know?
Yeah. I still think it's a good map, though, for TVZ, to be honest. I'm not at all surprised that he chose this map. So,
is there anything tricky that Killer could try here on this map?
I think he should be playing a macro game again.
Yeah.
Take a pretty quick 3rd and try to keep it alive, whether that's with mass mutas or lurkers. Yeah, either that or a 9-pool speed.
Okay. Guys, our game's ready to go. Right now, it's Mind with a 2-1 lead against Killer. This is a best of 5. The winner will go to the winners segment of this group. The loser is not eliminated yet. They have one more best of 5 to prove themselves. And that game is up. It's ready to go. Let's do this, guys. Game 1, Killer versus Mind.
All right, Coolio. We got Killer in the top left as Zerg.
Can't believe you just said Coolio.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
You're right. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Fellow kids. Like,
Yeah. Bottom right, we got mine. Need a Rama. All right.
Totally
Cross
tubular.
spawns.
So, one cute little thing about the depot placement like this is it can pop. That pops the SCV out to the right, correct?
That is correct.
Yep. So units always pop out of the bottom left of anything you're making it out of, unless it's larva, then it just depends on where the egg is. But if you make that depot there to the bottom left side of the command center, then yeah, the SCVs pop out a little bit closer to the mineral patches.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
It does help. It makes a little difference. So it's definitely something that pretty much every Terran player does. So we are sitting here waiting to see. Will there, obviously it's going to be hatchery first. We already see that from Killer, so no quick pull or anything. But will Mine get a gas? He does.
He does.
So he is going into 1-1-1. And he's not playing against a 9 full speed. Not that that will always kill it, but it can.
Yeah.
You definitely see Terrans die in that situation occasionally. But he's basically safe going into this, and it's cross map, so it's hard to really cheese him in this position. I think it's a good build for Mine to be going for. I like his play with 1-1-1. Nowadays, I think that when he first started doing it, it was a little bit rocky, but I think it fits his style, like the way he likes to play the game anyway.
You know, there's so many different ways the build can branch from there, and I think that this build has been so much more fine-tuned now. It is crazy, by the way. We still have changes in the meta of a game that has not been changed in 19 years, minus it being remastered. But I mean, there's no big balance patches coming in here.
Yeah, I mean, everything just continues to change. It's kind of crazy, actually, that this game is still evolving this steadily, even if you play some of these older maps. It's like,
yeah, it's funny.
These maps are played completely different than they used to be.
When we come back to cast StarCraft 1, we had mostly been doing StarCraft 2, so we were actually casting with a meta in our heads. This is right when we got back. With a meta in our heads that was like basically 9 years old or something.
Yeah.
And then we started seeing them do all this crazy stuff. We were just like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Queens versus Terran, mech switch against Zerg. What
Yeah,
are we
it's
seeing?
just crazy stuff.
And it's funny because a lot of this stuff has rotated out heavily now. Like, it's not that you can't go mech versus Zerg anymore, but Zerg got so good, now everyone's doing 1-on-1s and SK Terran.
Yeah, it's funny. Or Protoss is just mass shuttling.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to bulldoze their way into Terran territory. It's so cool. Protoss is going for Dragoons right into Nexus.
By the way, Mind heavily denied scouting. I don't think that Killer actually knows this is 1-1-1.
Really?
Yeah, he might feel it. I think he should just be making a sunken. You have to. Yeah. But
okay, good.
He like really kept that drone back. That was I think that was a frustrating moment for Killer. But as
Yeah.
long as you get that, you're going to be all right.
Well, you know, getting that confirmation
so
of what the initial build is so huge.
Look, he loves doing this, man.
Yeah,
He keeps
so-
saying 150 minerals. Okay, finally, once the SCV goes out, he makes the layer. So right now, okay, this was definitely a mind game because he waited till the SCV retreated out of the main base.
More like a killer game.
Yeah. Remember, he went all in, like, 3-hatch Ling, basically.
Yeah.
On Eddie. I think he's trying to make Mind think that right now.
Well, so far, so good. Starport almost done. And, you know, from here, with that Vulture out there, you can pretty much keep the Zerg contained. Now, he's actually pulled back for a minute. But, yeah, the Zerg usually tends to stay back until they actually can get map control again.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get that first Wraith out that's going to try to take out as many Overlords as possible.
It's going to have to scout really quickly as well because I think he is a bit nervous about whether or not this is going to be an all-out attack from Killer.
Yeah.
Just kind of checking the edge of his base here. One of the variations of 1-on-1 is a Vulture drop, so you need to see that coming immediately.
Yeah.
That's like the kind of sneaky variation. You just mix that in every now and then, get a free win.
Yeah. Vultures get in there, start taking out drones.
Yeah, if they have
so
speed,
hard to recover.
The drones are all gone. That's it.
Science facility coming up here now.
Very standard 1-on-1.
One thing with a 1-1-1 is a lot of times getting the vessels in this matchup is an inevitability. You want to get that out. So we see the race coming out on the map here. Hydras are being hatched.
Yeah, normally what you'll do is get 2 to 3 Hydras just to make sure that you're fully defended against the Wraith. They can't really harass your drones or Overlords. See how the Overlords have been pulled back very, very well. All right, gets his first full scout off. Let's see what he's seeing. So you've seen a few Hydras. If you see more than 3 or 4, that's, oh my god.
Oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. And the reason he got speed was probably because he thought it might be a speedling all-in. So again, these are kind of nice moves, right? He doesn't have mines out on the map. This didn't do anything for him. These vultures,
No.
they like made him feel safe, but that's it. So that, denying the scouting of the layer start time, I mean, it put a kink into the build order of Killer, but more so into the build order of Mind.
Yeah, it was a really good move. I mean, just having a little bit of that concealed for a little bit longer paid off pretty hugely. Now, the Spire is just now finishing, so we're going to probably see a lot more attention on the map for Mind side of the map.
Yeah, he's seen
my gosh.
5 Hydras now. So that's, you know, you could start being like, what are you doing? Is this
Yeah.
Muta? Is this not? Do I build my turrets?
One thing you can do is, make that Spire, but then if you chase the Wraith out, let's say you just keep making Hydras.
Yeah.
You just do something completely crazy, and, all these eggs, maybe they're mutas, maybe they're not.
If they're going mutas, you do have to add your turrets before your barracks. So that can really mess everything up.
What was that? Okay, some more Hydras.
It is more Hydras.
All right.
He did not see what was popping out of those eggs, though. But he kind of feels it.
Yeah, 2 bunkers says.
Well, when you, again, if you see more than 3 or 4 Hydras, you don't need more than that. That's like all you need to defend against the Wraith and the Vultures. So
this might be a game that Killer ends up losing here. Killer's going to have to go home and have that pep talk like, hey, man, you won in a straight-up game. You should have played more straight-up games.
I wouldn't mind him playing straight up with the Hydra base play right now, to be honest. I think that's probably Siege on the way, by the way. Okay, he sees what this is. But mine did make at least 1 turret in there, too. So you can kind of see that not completely sure aspect.
Yeah, still a little bit of ambiguity here. Now, you need to get the SCVs over by the bunker and repair them. Hydras do fire very quickly. So, okay, no, this tank is so well placed, though.
Yeah.
What is he going to do now? Is he going to have drop?
He might go into drop. That's definitely a possibility.
Well, just the fact that he has 2 Overlords over here.
Well, I think it's...
Oh,
that's annoying.
Okay, we got to get back to this attack over here at the natural because it's heating up.
I don't know, radiates those back Hydras. Oh, my God.
Oh,
wow.
my God.
Look at that decision-making by Mine.
Yeah.
I think most Terrans would be like, oh, repair. He's like, no, I'll repair after they're gone. It's fine. The 2 siege tanks irradiate, and all those Marines in the bunkers, I guess, did a good job right there. Now, Mind, just macroing up, adding more barracks. Needs to get his stim all done, get some medics out and all that. Whereas we have Killer taking his 3rd base there at 12 o'clock.
So one thing to note, we really can't emphasize enough what a big deal it is that Hydra attack up there at the front didn't work. This is not ideal, the kind of tech that Zerg has here. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not pretty either. So he's going to go for that Lurker drop here, Hydra Lurker. Hydra Lurker in a Defiler was actually the original ZVT unit composition when people really started mapping out the game and you were actually dark swarming your army, not theirs. And then eventually it turned out to be way more cost efficient to get Zergling Lurker because you just have all your gas goes to the Lurkers, all of your minerals go to the Lings. So, and then what you do is you just Dark Swarm in the middle of the fight and just try to overwhelm everything. And it forces the Terran to move out of the Dark Swarm while your Lurkers and Lings get free hits.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here, due to this weird timing attack that Killer set up, is that he's kind of stuck with this actually very old school unit comp. And he's going to try to make this work by leveraging a drop, or at least the possibility of a drop here while expanding twice.
Yeah, and I don't think he's actually going to do a drop. There's the threat of that for certain, but I really like this approach. He's actually going into Manzerg, right? He's going double evolution chamber, Hydra, Lurker. He has some Scourge in there, obviously, as we see. But this is going to be a very positional play. He's going to slow him down at bridges. He's going to make him siege up. He's going to threaten runarounds. He's going to threaten drops. He's going to, there's going to be all these little things. And if Mine can maneuver perfectly, his army should be able to win. But this is a deadly army, and if you mess up one time and those Lurkers get on top of you, you're going to lose your tanks and your Marines.
Okay, now the bridge can be a good focal point to try to control these fights, because that bridge creating a bottleneck over there, that's unusual, but I guess that's one way to do it.
That's actually growing in popularity.
Really?
Irradiating Scourge. Yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. It's not like an always to use thing, but if the Scourge are right there and really threatening, it's like, if they don't split, they all die.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I hadn't really thought of that. Okay, so he's actually pushed around.
Yeah, he's
Basically-
forced him back for now.
Yeah, the Zerg's been pushed away from that bridge area, but this is a huge open area in the middle of this map.
Yeah.
Zerg can get some pretty crazy flanks.
Yeah.
Terran have a lot of areas to try to retreat to.
And Ling Hydra Lurker, I mean, this is not a bad army. If you flank this correctly, it's all about just kind of getting the surface area and getting your Lurkers burrowed
Yeah.
near everything. And I think that he can do it. This is a big, big army.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my God. Mind might be in a lot of trouble here. Those siege tanks got way out in front.
Oh! Okay, he gets out of the range of the Lurkers here, which means the rest of the Stim Marines can fight. He also could siege up or even try to use the
What is
unsiege tanks to
this?
push forward.
What is this? Oh! Okay, he actually gets a pretty decent burrow there, forcing Mine back a little bit. Mine does run back and stim and siege up, so nice positioning there by Mine.
Okay, he actually took out a decent amount of Lurkers,
Yeah.
but hey, Killers kept Mind on his side of the map. And he's got 3 gases making. We saw that the 4th base for Killer has no drones at it. So right now it's functioning more like a macro hatchery than an actual location he's sucking resources out of.
Adding more and more Hydras at the moment. He definitely does need to refill his Lurker count a little bit. Doesn't have that Carapace upgrade yet. That makes a gigantic difference with these units.
The amount that you can see on your screen a lot of times is so important here. In some of these big open fights, you can think you're winning, and if you glide your screen over to the side, you suddenly realize you're getting surrounded.
Oh!
That was so
my.
good. Okay, now I think absolutely Mine can keep pushing forward.
Yeah, when you get 7 Lurkers for free.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that is so painful
I
for
knew
that
that was
going to
be bad. I didn't think he was going to lose that
No, that
badly
was
in that fight. I thought some of those Lurkers were going to get away.
It was like a perfect volley. They were too
Here we
close.
go.
Uh-oh.
Killer.
Killer.
The targeting is real.
You in trouble. Oh, my God. Really well done here by Mine.
Nicely done. All right.
Yeah.
Mind goes ahead and wins that, outplaying Killer, who more than once tried to do some pretty kind of out there, weird Zerg styles to throw him off. But Mind advances. This is the result we expected.
Yeah. I think that Killer was a little bit sloppy with a few attacks in there.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that strategically this was not a bad call because he was just going big, strong macro play against Mine. But when you have a couple really poor engagements and Mine controls that well, he's going to be able to finish you off almost immediately. And getting those like 7-ish Lurkers for free. Oh my God, that was. What are you supposed to do at that point?
Crazy. Well, it's unfortunate that he lost those Lurkers, but if they're out there like that, there's a reason why Terran kind of roam back and forth.
Yeah.
They sort of serpentine through the middle of the map because any stray armies you have out there, if you can catch that, especially when you have that many control groups of units, it's really hard to get everything away.
Yeah.
Retreating is actually pretty hard in StarCraft 1.
Oh, yeah. It can be very, very difficult indeed. Your units can bump into each other and just makes it very difficult, especially those Lurkers. Like when they popped out, the eggs are smaller than the Lurkers, so they displace each other, and then it's hard to make a move.
They start to dance on top of each other. So our results for now, we're still nowhere near close to being done here, but Mind 3-1 in Killer, very nicely done.
Yeah, and Killer, you know, he goes to the loser match, but a Protoss or Zerg next, I think his style might fit those players a little bit better.
Yeah, it seems like he might be weakest in a ZVT.
That's definitely possible.
And, of course, we have Mini versus Sulky coming up. That's the one I'm excited for. I really am curious who's going to take this one because both these guys are so good and seem to be getting about the same results, the same placements in major tournaments going on here in Korea. So, of course, a very important match overall here for the KSL.
Indeed. We'll see. I mean, what do you think about that one? Who takes that one? Sulky, right?
I think Sulky.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's go to the interview.
Hello everyone, we're gonna have an interview with the winner of tonight's match, Mine. Congratulations on the win. Thank you. So with today's victory, you now advance to the winners bracket. How do you feel?
저번 시즌 KSL을 이기지 못해서
You know, last season KSL, I was unsuccessful in winning the championship.
1승을 해서 올라가는 게 아니고 어쨌든 남은 경기를 이겨야 되는 거니까.
And you know, the remaining matches are equally important.
남은 경기를 더 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
So I can't let my guard down, and I gotta practice hard. You definitely felt a bit frustrated after your result in last season. So I'm guessing you made a lot of preparation for this KSL season too.
저그가 2명이라 저는 그게 뭐 저번 시즌보다
There are 2 Zerg players now.
저그전은 그래도 많이 이겼으니까
So I feel like I'm actually confident in the matchup.
어떻게든 이기고 올라가자는 그런 생각으로 연습했어요.
But you know, I was just concentrating on winning
아무래도
this
박성균
match.
선수의 저그전이 또 프로토스 전보다 더 강력하고 하니까 많은 기대를
Yes, definitely you hold the
해주시는 것
strength
같습니다.
in that matchup.
또 오늘 경기를 살펴보면요, 1세트 때 박준호 선수가 뮤타를
You know, looking at today's matchup, today's match,
4세트 전부 굉장히 공격적으로
in the first set and the second set, the Zerg was actually really aggressive. What do you think about that?
때는 뭐 저그들이 저렇게 잘 안 하고 많이
You know, during scrims, the Zerg players normally don't play like that,
당황은 했던 것 같아요. 당황은 했는데
and I was really startled by his
게임
playstyle.
자체가 제가 다 초반에 분위기가 좋았어서
But you know, I
이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
focused on the defense and I was able to hold it out.
공격적인 플레이를 좀 더 유연하게 막아주시는 모습도
Yes, definitely
보여주셨는데
flexibly
2세트도
countering the
그렇고
matchup.
4세트도 그렇고 1-1-1 빌드를 사용을 했습니다.
You
이거는
actually used the
본인이 좀
1-1-1 build.
선호하는 플레이인 건가요?
뭐
Was that prepared?
정해지진 않았고요. 그냥
You know, it wasn't
하려고
really
했는데
prepared for today's
원원을
match.
해야겠다고
It was just like a
느낌이
flexible
왔어요.
build.
그래서 결과적으로는 좋았던 것 같아요.
But you know, in the end,
아무래도
the result was
2세트에서의
fine.
승리가 4세트의 그런 빌드 선택을 하는데 영향을 줬나요?
영향이 뭐 있었죠, 네.
네, 그렇습니다. 또 2세트는 저는 굉장히 인상적으로 봤는데
In the second
그
set, it
마지막
was really,
장면이 굉장히
really interesting to watch.
인상적이었어요. 박준호 선수가 마지막 럴커 드랍을 준비를 했는데
You know, he
본진에
was
다
preparing
대비가
for the
되어
lurker
있는
drops.
상태였거든요.
네네.
이걸 예측을 하신 건가요?
And did you predict him
아무래도 저그가
to do that?
그때 분리해서 할 게 이제 조금 드랍 같은 거였는데 그래서
You
생각을
know,
하고
I knew that he would make
생각을
a lurker
하셨고
drop.
사실 저는 그 박성균 선수가 그 드랍 전에 스캔으로 확인하는
You know,
모습을
before his lurker drop, I saw you actually scanning his overloads.
그 위치에 스캔을 뿌리는 게 참 신기했거든요.
You know, it was really fascinating to see you scanning that exact place.
앞마당 쪽에 그
네.
오버로드를 확인하는 모습이었는데 어떻게 그런 플레이가
How
나올
did
수
you make such a play?
테란 뭐 10년 동안 테란 하시면
You know, I've been playing Terran for 10 years, and it's just like my
그
intuition, my
플레이를
natural
주로 하는
instinct.
편이어서 더 와닿았습니다. 어떻게 저게
Well, that was definitely a very
예측할 수
fascinating
있지
play.
하는 마음이 들었네요. 네, 오늘 저그전을 통해서 승리를 거뒀는데 승자전에서는
With today's match,
프로토스 변현재 선수
you'll be
저그
going to the winners
김민철
bracket,
선수를 만나게 됩니다.
and you'll be
둘다
playing against
어떻게
one of the
보면
two
다른
players,
이유로 까다로운 선수들이에요.
and they are
어떤
both very
선수가
picky
올라왔으면
players.
좋겠나요?
Who do you want to play
뭐
against?
잘해서 솔직히 뭐 누가
You know,
와도
both
빡센
are very
것 같은데
phenomenal
그래도
players.
저는 저그전 하고 싶어서 민철이가 이기는 게
But
좋을
I
것
do
같아요.
want to play against the Zerg, so I hope Soki
뒤에서 듣고
advances.
있기 때문에
Well, he's
승자전에서 어떤
in the
선수를
backstage
만나게
listening to
될지
you right now.
굉장히 기대가 됩니다. 앞으로의 경기에서도 박성균 선수 좋은
Well,
모습 기대하도록
congratulations on the
하겠습니다.
win, and that's the end of the
감사합니다.
interview.
김철민 캐스터
And I'll throw it back to
나와주세요.
the casters now.
Okay,
you,
yeah, we're
Andy.
back now. End of the interview, not the end of the show.
It's
we still got a lot
interesting.
more games to do.
Interesting that Mine says he would prefer to have Sulky there.
Yeah, I was
because
kind of
he's
weirded
a
out by
player
that.
because Sulky's so strong. But I think if I was Mine, I'd be like, well, watching Mini versus Flash, I'm pretty sure that Mini's never going to win another PVT in his life.
Well, I'm really hoping that we can see more mini PVTs because he did not, at least like what we saw earlier in ASL, he was not doing what he's known for, what he usually, I think he almost like mind gamed himself.
If I'm
in
not
the PVTs
mistaken,
he had just recently.
we will see him against Mind in this tournament, in this group.
Okay.
It is really hard for me to imagine Sulky not winning this group.
Sulky needs to get to the Final Four and lose like he does in every tournament.
That's his role.
That's his whole purpose here.
Which is funny because he's a StarCraft 2 champion, but
yeah. But in 2018, he's a Final Four guy where we say he should win and then he loses.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mini is a guy who loses shuttles in weird ways.
He definitely does do that. But he's a top 8, top 4 guy too, actually.
For sure.
He's been doing really well
Look,
lately.
I think these are the two guys that are actually supposed to get out. Sorry, Mind fans.
What about Killer fans? No reasonable person.
Come at me. Come at me, Killer fans.
Yeah.
You guys know my Twitter. You guys know where to send the hate. Look, I think I like Killer too, but no, dude, he's not going to get out of this group. Okay? There's not enough lifeboats in Group B for this guy to paddle
Mind
to
beats
safety.
Sulky in the next round, there's a small chance.
Yeah. He's wrong. We'll be right back here at the KSL with Mini versus Sulky, Game 1, so don't go away.